What's up, guys? Welcome back to another guide. Today we're going to talk about Blader. I think the translation in the NA is going to be Deathblade. It's an assassin class. I like it quite a lot. I've been playing actually this one a lot more than I've been playing the Berserker class. I'm having a little bit of an internal battle. I actually don't know which class I'm going to be playing the most. But let me get back into it. So stat points, right? The other day somebody asked me like why I mean people were just putting the points because we tell you to, but what's the purpose, right? So agility, when you have 1,000 points in agility, you're going to get about 17.17% of attack speed and movement speed and 21.47% on cooldown reduction. And for fast classes, if you can get that cooldown, especially because you're so combo heavy to really dish out that hard damage, it can really help you in the fight, especially when you're going against someone else that doesn't have that. The majority of builds, I like to go 933 agility, which that's going to give me 16% of attack speed and movement speed and 20% of cooldown reduction. And it's about a 1.47% of cooldown reduction more when you have this higher point of agility. And the biggest thing is on subdue, I think it's like domination or whatever name it is going to be on NA. But the difference is that since I have 1,000 points in agility now, with 249 points, I'm only actually going to be giving 15.33% of damage increase to enemies that are CC'd. Now, CC can apply to all the 3 stages. If you want to know what the stages are, I have another video that explains all the 3 stages of CC and how to understand them. Just go check it out. In comparison to if you have 933 agility and you would have 316 points of subdue, you would be doing about 19.30% damage increase to CC targets. So this is technically one of my first classes I'm going higher agility, mostly because I prefer to be the first one to land, and 1% may really not make a difference, but anybody that has played MMOs understand that like small numbers really add up. And then 1 point in crit, again, same thing applies. If you have 0 points in crit, then you have no chance of critting. If you have 1%, it's about like 2%, not even that. I think it's like 1.8% of chance to crit. And again, it's not a bad choice to have, you know what I mean? It's 1 point, you crit in the middle of a fight, it can really turn events, and it can really get you going. If you want to know more about it, I will drop a link of the stats distribution with maybe if you wanted less agility and more subdue and so on. It all depends on the class, and it also depends on your play style as well. And this is just something I go for with the build that I have, but that's just something that fits me well. It doesn't necessarily have to fit you. Alright, so right into the skills. The first one I have is Axel. I put 10 points into it. This is going to be one of your gap closers and your initiator in the fights. Biggest thing here, you are a blader. The only time you're ever going to do anything is when you're in the enemy's face. So all your closing skills, they have to have immunity. You want to have as much super armor as possible or as many skills as possible. And this is why the agility is such a big thing. Dexterity is hands. Your attack speed is now faster when you the skill is faster. Immunity, so you can get the super armor from knockback effects. They did on the flight, critical chance of attacks while jumping increases by 50%, and the damage from the final blow is also 100%. Really good skill to use. Great initiator. I'll show you guys. You can use it almost half screen distance. Really good gap closer. Second one, Rising Whirlwind. The names will vary on the NA, but as long as you see the picture and you match it, you guys should be fine. This skill is huge. It's massive. I love using it. One of the biggest things is you can keep the enemy in the air. And this is one of the very few classes that you can almost stun chain someone basically to 0%. I've been very close against squishy classes to completely wipe them in one full combo. It's amazing. But Dexterity hands again, quickly release. Raging Hurricane, your third attack is added to the skill. So basically, you toss them in the air, then another skill shows up which tosses them in the air again. And then Thorough Preparation. This ability cannot be interrupted by the effects of daze and knockback while its recovery time is increased. So you are losing 8 seconds on the cooldown. which is already it's a short cooldown, but with that A it becomes pretty big. But the fact that you have super armor and you can be touched, really, really good, especially when you're trading against those other classes. Having that ability to be able to use a skill and not get yourself stuck is really, really good. Shortly after, I got Cutting Blades. This is a mobility. Some people will choose vulnerability just because to get the 12% or more damage to attacks to the head and back on PvE. And some like wide attacks so they can hit the enemy. I personally use this for movement and movement only, so I just prefer the fast attack. This does not CC the enemy. It doesn't even stagger the enemy. Just put that in consideration. I would not recommend using this skill to initiate your first hit on the enemy, but you are immune to stagger when you're using this. So maybe you're fighting against a Hawkeye or a Devil Hunter and they're using their distance skills that if you get hit you could get staggered. You use one of these and you're not going to be staggered when you're doing your movement. Then shortly after, Hand of the Avesta. Somebody tried to tell me it was Avesta. I personally don't know. I'm reading it how I see it. But verified movement, the training time of this skill is reduced by 20%. Why? Because this skill is a charge skill. So you can use this, or you can use Penetrating Lunge. The lunge range is increased by 30%. It's up to you. I'm going to show you guys one of the combos that has the blades, and then I'm going to show you a combo that has the heartbeat. Again, both of them, they work to your liking. I can't tell you which one I like the most, but nonetheless, they're really, really good. Dark Hand increases the skill damage by 30%. You can choose Ice Hand as well. When fully trained, the skill no longer throws the opponents, but instead it freezes them. So this is really, really good, and this is the combo that I currently have on the skill bar, and I'll show you guys the difference by using Heartbeat and Ice Hand instead of using Dark Hand and Blades. Then Hurricane Rush, combo finisher. One of the biggest damage skills there is for your class, for this class. I think maybe the only one compared to this one would be Headhunting. But maybe because I'm playing on the Russian server, my ping doesn't respond as much as I would like to. Not only some people have got out from Headhunting when I'm in the middle of the combo. People have also punished me for using Headhunting because I have absolutely no armor when you're using this skill, whether you're using Hurricane Rush or Headhunting. But I do Dark Rush to get the 15% more damage. I do Constant Threat, so now this skill is a hold the button skill. It increases the damage by 50%. And then I do Cutting to increase the damage even further. Then I do Vital Attack. This is another close gap mobility. This does stagger the enemy if they get hit. I get high mobility to increase the range, and this skill works in the tripod effect that if I choose this tripod triple attack, which we'll go over it increases to 2 meters every time I do a dash. And then immunity, again, super armor, so I cannot be touched. I can either use to escape or I can use this to close gap, and if the enemy tries to be quick, I will be able to not be CC'd by it. And then triple attack. Instead of doing 2 blades, you're going to be doing 3 of them, and the skill damage is increased. And then the last one is Paul Star. Quickly Prepare. Cooldown the skill is reduced by 2 seconds. You can choose Sphere Control if you like to use your ult a lot in your combos. It's up to you. I personally like to use Quickly Prepare just because the skill on it, the cooldown on it is decently, I guess we'd say medium, but to have it that 2 seconds can really make a difference. Immunity against super armor, you can use it when getting up and the enemy is still around you because he doesn't understand the CC effects, so now you can punish him. And then Summon the Starlight. The blade throws opponents into the air, but then instead of dagger strike, summons a huge energy sword and throws them to the ground, throwing opponents again, and the skill damage is of course increased by 100%. And one thing to add to it is that it increases the cooldown by 6 seconds, so it really increases for 4 seconds. One of the combos that I like to use a lot, and I think this is one of my first ones that catches a lot of enemies, especially your poker, such as Demonic or Shadow Hunter, I believe is on the NA. and Sharpshooter, Summoners, and Arcanas, especially over here in the Russian server. I don't know if it will get released on DNA, but I like to begin with Vital Attack, followed by Pulse Star, and then I go right into my Cobalt Chain. Again, I'm just going to go through some basics one here. If you fully understand the class and that's something for you to practice and put some time into it, you can almost chain these entire thing. Maybe the last one that you will not use is your Cutting Blades, or maybe the enemy has no HP and you just kind of like, whatever, man, I will slap you around. On the training dummy, unfortunately, the skill shows him being dragged. On PvP, you will run right through your enemy. But nonetheless, right in the beginning, I'll do Vital Attack. He charges them 3 times. Throw them in the air, followed by a Whirlwind. Freeze them. Finish them off. This whole combo can easily take about 60% of health of an enemy, especially depending how much you crit. Like that one crit can make a difference. And if you crit on both Hurricane Rush and in your Pulse Star, it's amazing. Again, because I've worked all the CCs in here, all of them kind of just worked cohesively, and I was able to just fully CC the enemy, and there's nothing they can do. They cannot even use their escape because they never actually touch the ground. They go from stagger immediately to knock up, immediately to knock up twice, to frozen in the air, finishing with Hurricane Rush. You could swap Hurricane Rush if you desire to headhunting, but for me, again, like I said, I've seen enemies that have escaped me, and I kind of just stood there looking a little bit confused, wishing that my combo was a little bit better. A secondary combo, very, very simple. Same thing, except a little bit more safe. You're going to begin with Axel, followed by Rising Whirlwind, into Hand of the Avesta, and finishing with Hurricane Rush. So Rise. Same thing, big damage. You close in the gap, and you can still punish the enemy incredibly. You can always add your areas of will to your combo if you want. At no point in time this is a must or this is a don't touch it. I think it's great damage, but at the same time, I can never tell you to use it in a combo with the conscience that if for some reason you have no idea how many circles you have or how many energy balls have you fulfilled, and then you use it and you do no damage instead of guaranteeing a lot of damage on the Hurricane Rush. But just to show you the distance that this thing, the Axel, the skill covers, it's huge. How far you jump and you can catch the enemy, it's incredible. I love it. I love this class. But this is just some of the basic guides. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. I will try to answer as best as I can. I've been playing this class for about, I want to say a good 30 hours now, close to 40. There's people that are better than me. There's other people that believe those other skills will fit their skill play better. It's all a change. One more, actually, I wanted to add the Sword of Art. Instead of using Hands of Avesta, you can use Sword Art, which is a charge skill. And I'll go through you guys. One of my biggest complaints about Sword Art, it's a great damaging skill, but if you for some reason are too close to the enemy when you toss them up the second time, I have gone through and not completed the combo, and because excuse me, because I've missed that combo, I am not able to finish with Hurricane Rush. The enemy gets away. I don't get to punish them as hard as I should have, and just not a fan. But nonetheless, I like to have it on the bar, because if Hand of Avesta is on cooldown, I can always use this one as a filler to continue doing damage. But the same thing applies. I would start with Axel, Rising Whirlwind, but then instead of Hand of the Avesta, I would go into Sword Art. So it should look something like this. And because the way that we use the tripods, that effect of knockup is going to happen twice when you use Sword Art, which actually keeps the enemy in the air, not allowing them to run away, almost as good as Frozen. and therefore being able to use your full Hurricane Rush. But if you see, knocks them up once and then explodes and knocks them up again, not allowing to use the escape button. And just to show you guys how the areas of will works, it's a double press skill. But if for some reason you wanted to use that because the other two are on cooldown, but you got lucky and you landed these two, you can always just knock them up, begin, and then hit them. Of course, this is PvE. You would not be doing 112,000 damage. I think the highest I've ever seen was 84 on a squishy character. It's a big chunk, but again, it's one skill. It's kind of like a one hit. Then now you have to charge it up. It's your rage bar. It's your special, and then you also have your ult, which if you haven't seen the supernova, which is the skill I like to use it a lot, and it should look something like this. You charge, go through the enemy, and then now he explodes and gets knocked up as well. Again, another skill that you can include in your combos at any point in time. You can create new combos if you want. Show me some videos of it. I would love it. I love it because I definitely want to get better at this class. I think this class has amazing potential for 1v1. One of the tops. If I had to put it in there, I would say easily S tier. There's very few classes that have dominated me in the fight when we are equal level of skill. There's other players out there that are way better than me. There's players that just have better ping, and they can respond a little bit better than I can. But I appreciate it, guys. I don't want to keep this longer. Thank you so much. If you like it, drop a like, subscribe. I'm going to try to do a couple more videos on all the other classes I have on this account. And hopefully you guys learn something from it, and then you can apply it to your PvP. I can't wait to see you guys when the NA releases. Bye-bye.